Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Well, I have to tell you, this is exciting. My energy is high. I have come off of an amazing trip. Now, all my trips are amazing, let's face it, but this one was Build Dallas. And I know Nicole is not on here with her team, but I just want to say, she 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 blew Dallas. She blew Plano, Texas up. The lineup that she had, the excitement in the room, and to pull it off on a Friday and to get people to come back on a Saturday was nothing short of a miracle. But when you have the lineup of speakers and guests, well, of course you're going to come back. And one of the things that I want to bring to you today was some of that high energy. And Josie, who is a mile that way to me, and Sherry Harris is a mile that way. I am booked in by two of the most powerhouse women in the industry here. I'm super, super excited. Josie, I would love for you to brag on yourself, girl, and tell us all about you because your accolades are like a mile long. So thank you so
Oh,
much for being here.
yes, no, it's a pleasure. Well, I'm Josie. I'm one of the amazing regional growth directors at EXP. I cover the Southeast region. I'm local to Florida, but cover states all the way up from Tennessee, all the way to like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina. So I get to work with almost 17,000 agents here at EXP. And, prior to joining this company, I was with Keller Williams for 10 years in a team leader capacity, COO capacity. I mean, I didn't make the Kool-Aid, I had it as an IV drip. I was going to Austin every month, but, I was cross recruited basically to EXP, which is awesome because the model, once you see it, you know that it's the best model, and I couldn't go back into my office and recruit agents to a model that I knew was not the best one for their business. Aside from that, aside from just being at EXP, I'm a wife, I'm a mom to a recently 16-year-old girl. So I am extremely busy, and I have a broke best friend is what I say, but I love helping people realize that they could do what is in their hearts. Like that is my God-given passion, is to empower and inspire others. And I've built my entire business through social media. So today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about building trust with your clients and showing up in that way. Yeah, I think that's a little bit about myself, Peggy. I don't know if that's good or
Well, it's fantastic. And I want to tell you, you have to follow her because she is an influencer. She is vulnerable. Guys, there's so much hype on social media. But when you can have a person like Josie, and I know there's other people out there, but right now we're like pouring into her. When you can have someone like Josie in such a high profile, and she will go on with no makeup. And guys, I know, Barry, I see you there. I know you do this too every day. But then just go on and be real and talk about, how I put my makeup on or what works or what doesn't or what product. This is what really social media should be for, is to see our real, authentic selves. And
that's
just
right.
before we jump in a little bit, I want to welcome, is there anybody here that's on for the first time? You want to just unmute yourself and say hi? Michelle.
Hi.
Look it. Hi.
Good morning. Yep, I'm Michelle. I'm here for the first time. Thank you guys for having me.
And where
Oh,
are you, Michelle?
I'm in North Carolina, in Sanford, North Carolina.
Okay. And did we just recently meet?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, at Build.
at Build. So, full transparency, you were looking at our company, correct? You're kind
Yes.
of just
Oh, yes.
peeking
Making a
behind the
switch.
curtain
Mhm.
there. And I think this is pretty awesome because she's still watching what we're doing. And what was your impression? I mean, you didn't even know Lisa and Misty. You knew them on the phone. I think you guys kind of met in the airport, and everybody was like, is she really going to show up? We invited this
Yeah.
person. We've never met her. So you
Yeah.
come to Build, you're thrown in with all this excitement and energy. How are you feeling, 4 days after you got home?
I'm still reeling. Like I'm still so excited. I've still got all these conversations and all these I'm looking back through my notes and remembering like just how powerful it was when they were actually being said by somebody on stage. I'm writing an action plan. I'm so excited. I'm definitely making the switch.
Oh,
Oh my
hey,
God, that's awesome.
we're so excited to hear that. You heard that here, guys. So what did you think when this powerhouse of woman walks up on stage with a basketball?
I thought, honest to God truth, I had seen Josie. We had met, and it was so nonchalant in the hallways that was one of my biggest takeaways. Like I met so many people just nonchalantly amazing people, and me thinking we're just, they're just agents just like me. And then all of a sudden they're on stage. And Josie was one of them. Like I met her in the hall grabbing coffee with Misty and Lisa. And it was just it's the access, like how accessible you guys
Yes.
are. You, Josie, and like Russ. All of a sudden I see him on stage. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like
Mm,
being new, I'm expecting people on stage to be untouchable, just unreachable. You won't have any, you might in passing shake a hand, but no, they were full conversations and hugs and lots of well wishes and just so much pouring into everyone.
I love
That's
that.
that's so cool. And I guarantee in a year or two, we're going to be looking at you up on stage telling the story
Mm,
about how an event changed your life and
yes.
how you feel. Because, Josie and I were at another company, which I went to that company 20 years ago. I went to Keller Williams 20 years ago this month. And
Wow.
for the longest time, it absolutely was the best company.
Mm,
I learned so much. I was in Austin right down there every single month. But here's the difference that I found. And at the time, I thought it was okay. I thought, okay, those people deserve to be on stage. They're untouchable. GK would sit in the back of the room at a table. No one knew who he was, couldn't talk to him, nothing. Our leadership was not approachable. And that works for them, right, guys? But
yes.
when you come to an organization like this and you're brand new, I mean, nobody knows who you are, you haven't even joined yet, they reach out to you. They embrace you. They welcome you. And then they're up on stage 5 minutes later, or you're hearing that they're a top producer. That's what we're building is an approachable company where
Hmm.
people can just reach out to anyone at any time. And this is what culture is all about.
Yes.
So I'm so happy that you're here and that you're committed to join us. We won't tell your broker. We don't even know what broker you're
Thank
at.
you.
Is there anybody else that's here for the first time or just wants to pop in and say hi? Okay. Who else was here at Build? Sherry, you had an amazing experience too. Sherry, tell us about yours.
Well, for me, I'll tell you guys, if you haven't been to a build, I mean, I've been to Cabo a few times, but this was my first like regional one, which is better because it's smaller and you could talk to a lot of people. But for me, I really believe that live events change lives. And I have a couple that I had been speaking with for 3 years to bring them to EXP. And I called Peggy and I'm like, what do you think if I bring them to build? And she's like, absolutely. And so Peggy helped me, but we got them tickets. I got them an airfare. I paid for their hotel. I was like, you guys have to be here.
Mhm.
And this is what they walked away with. They said to me, and they've been top producers in their former brokerage. They are with EXP now. But they came to build and they said, we never knew there was more to real estate than just selling houses. And that to me was everything because soup to nuts and Josie, you were a huge part of it too. You did such a great job on stage. I can't wait to hear you again today, but everybody there, like you said, Michelle, what attracted me to EXP is that this is a collaboration. We're all in this together. And whether somebody is an absolute top producer selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of houses or a big attractor bringing in a lot of agents, it doesn't matter. We all are here to help each other. So anyway, Peggy, I loved Build and I totally
Good.
recommend that if you have anybody that's on the fence about finding out more about EXP, bring them.
That's so great. Absolutely. I love that, Sherry. Tucker, you were in the house there. Tucker, I'm going to say you and I are one of the oldest ones on this call. Let's face it here.
Hello.
Hello. But you keep showing up to events. You're over 40 years in the business. Why do you keep going?
Because it's the gas that fuels my engine, truthfully. And Michelle con convinced me that she was signing up then. Michelle, I thought you were already here. You told me you were going to do it the next day.
It's
I she,
it's happening, I promise. It's happening.
she's got a little couple of logistic things like closings, getting paid, a few things like that. But she's committed.
And
She's
Cheryl Crow's on the phone, which is amazing.
Have I met Cheryl?
Yeah, Cheryl Crow. Say hi, honey.
He's
Where is she?
talking about me, Peggy.
Oh, you, Cheryl. You're right. So, oh my God, Lisa, all of this. And the reason I'm having you guys tell these stories is because Josie is going to weave this into her presentation today because these are how you build relationships, your stories. They're relatable. Right, Josie? This is what it's all about.
Yeah,
So, community
absolutely.
coming together. I'm going to turn it over to you, the girl that walks up on stage, dances salsa with Gene, and I have that on video. Dances salsa with Gene as he's spinning her around, and then she's bouncing a basketball. And you ended up giving that basketball away.
I
And I
did.
told you I met the gentleman that you gave it to. It's who I thought you gave it to. He was walking around so proud, so absolutely proud. So it is about trust, it is about relationships. So, Josie, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thank you all for sharing your stories. Honestly, they blessed me tremendously. I relate to each one of them, Michelle, Sherry, all of you guys, because we are a company that allows proximity, right? Our CEO, you can message him anytime in our app, and he's gonna reply. And the best thing that I like respect about Leo is that he remembers your name, which is wonderful. He remembers something about you, and it just goes to say the kind of culture that we have here, right? Like there's other companies that talk about culture, but like we actually live it, and it's such a collaborative environment. So I'm so glad that all of you are here. So on stage I spoke about the trust economy, and it's basically like what I'm going to give to you in the next 20 minutes is a storytelling framework that's going to allow you to build your business, but most importantly, build your trust. Because if trust is the currency, then storytelling is how are going to earn it. Okay. And it's very important that when you open up social media, and I always say this, if you have not posted on your stories today, you have not opened the doors of your business. Your social media should have a post, a story, something to share every single day to let people know that you are open for business. Because the truth is that you all have secret followers that don't ever comment, don't ever like, don't ever send you a DM, but they've been watching you for years. And those are the people that you will eventually convert. Those are the people in the future that build your business. Okay. So I want you to make sure that you guys are opening up the doors to your business every single day, whether it's through a story, a post, a direct message, something to make you visible. So I don't have the basketball here, obviously, but what I did was I walked on stage with a basketball and I asked everybody, how much is this basketball worth? And I want you to type in the chat. Tell me how much you think this basketball is worth right now. Take a guess. $35, and yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And I think that's exactly what I paid for it, $35. But what if I told you that this was the basketball that Michael Jordan practiced with the night before Game 6 of the NBA Finals?
Hmm.
How much is the basketball worth now? 1 mil. And yeah, The value is definitely going up. 1 million. I'm sure people will pay over 5 million if that was the basketball that Michael Jordan held or practiced with the night before he won his sixth NBA championship. Now, the question is, did the basketball change? No, the basketball hasn't changed. What changed was your perception. And that's what storytelling does, right? Stories are not going to change the object, but they change what the object means, right? And I want you to write this down. Meaning, when something has meaning, that creates emotion. Emotion then creates connection, right? We all connected with what Michelle shared earlier. We all connected with what Sherry shared earlier. So, meaning creates emotion, emotion creates connection. What do you think connection creates? Trust.
Yeah.
When people connect with you, they begin to trust you. Okay. Awesome. And here it is again. People do not connect with marketing, they connect with meaning. And I'm going to break this down for you, right? How many of you can remember a social media post that you saw yesterday?
Mm,
Mm, maybe like you got to
possibly.
think about it. Possibly, maybe.
I
We see.
remember the post, but I don't remember who posted it.
There you go. Okay, perfect. You
Hmm.
can't really remember. Like you if I ask you that question on your toes, you're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, I saw blah 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 so and so posted this about this." Like you got to think about it. Okay? You got to really think about it. But if I asked you, "Hey, do you remember a story that someone told you many years ago?" You'd probably say, "Yeah." Probably, "Oh yeah, I got stories. I could share a story." If I asked one of you guys to share a story that resonated with you, you would be able to share it.
Hmm.
Isn't that interesting? We can't remember posts, but we could remember stories. Your listing and your open house and your business is not boring. It's just, it doesn't have any meaning attached to it. People do not connect with information, they connect with meaning and emotion. Okay? Now, why do stories win? There's a reason why stories win. Like it's a science. And these aren't like my personal opinions. These are actually like this is what consumer psychology says. They work well because we process information with one part of our brain, and it works very similar to a filing cabinet. Okay, it's just information that we store in there, and it's random facts that we know, no meanings attached to it. But when you hear a story, it is working multiple parts of your brain. And when it's working multiple parts of your brain, you're activating your entire brain. And so you store it better and you remember it better. This is why like stories have transcended cultures, families, generations, civilizations. It's because our brains are literally wired for it. So if Anne were to tell me, hey, the medium home price increased by 4% in my hood, I'm probably going to forget that tomorrow. But if you tell me about the single mom who thought that she never was going to own a home until she finally got the keys, you not only understand that, but you feel that. Some of you might even relate to that. Okay. Remember, emotion creates connection, creates meaning, and meaning creates connection. People do not buy logically. They don't. They buy emotionally. And then they justify it logically. Emotion makes you act, logic makes you think. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. Okay? These are some real facts, by the way. And the one that blew me away was this they did a NAR consumer survey, and it's that trust is the number one reason that consumers choose a realtor. Trust. That's it. It's not about how many homes you've sold, how many years you've had in the industry. It's just trust. When you guys are sharing on social media, this is what you're asking yourself. Okay, what should I post? What content? I need to share some content today. But really, what you should be asking yourself is how do I want to make my audience feel? Okay. Every post should leave someone feeling something, whether it's hope, whether it's confidence, whether it's security, connection. They want to be inspired, educated. Remember that people already have so much access to information. I could literally speak to Siri, to chat, to Claude, anybody to get information.
Hmm.
I don't need you to provide me the information. Okay. But logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. I promise you, you do not have a content problem. You have a connection problem. Okay? So always ask yourself, what do you want your audience to feel? How do you want to make them feel? Now let's quickly go over the evolution of social media. Okay? 2020 was all about the perfect post, right? I don't know if you guys remember. This was during the pandemic, COVID. Everything was like you needed to have a good preset, a perfect feed. Everything looked polished. Then we went into 2021 and everyone became an educator. It was about, oh, 5 mistakes here, 3 tips to do XYZ, everything you need to know about XYZ. Educational content exploded in 2021. In 2022, you might remember this, it was all about reels. This was when reels were launched and you had people dancing, lip syncing, trying to match audio with their words. I would slow down the audio to make sure that it would like look good,
Mhm.
right? Trending audio took over in 2022 and short form video was everything. Then we went into 2023, and this was the year of authenticity. People got super tired of like being perfect and polished. They wanted authenticity. They wanted to see like behind the scenes. It was like show me your office kind of content, show me the real you, show me you getting ready. We were onto something, okay? 2024 was all about personality. Personality started outperforming perfection. People started following you because of what you believed in, because you made them laugh, okay, because they relate to you. And then 2025, and I remember if you guys, remember last year, everything was all about community. Join my chat, download this, I'll add you to my Facebook community. Broadcast channels became a thing. Adding people to your close friends became a thing. But now we're in 2026. And 2026 is all about identity based content. And identity based content looks like this, right? Reasons to follow or unfollow me. My current obsessions, things that I don't do anymore, things I stopped doing as a realtor. Here are my July favorites. It's not necessarily educational content, right? This is not educating me on anything, but it's identity. And here's why it works. This is the reason why it's working right now. Because the person that's looking at that content is saying to themselves, wow, she's my kind of person.
Mhm.
Wow, she believes in what I believe in. Wow, she beat cancer. Wow, she's struggling, with her daughter, whatever it is. Wow, he overcame addiction just like me. That's why identity-based content works. Remember, they're not hiring you for how many years you have in the industry. They're hiring you because they feel that they can trust you and you can get them what they need.
Mhm.
Okay? Information gets saved, identity gets followed. Information gets saved, identity gets followed. We are not in the informational business. We are in the trust business.
Mhm.
Okay? How many recipes? I'm going to ask you a real question. I want you to be honest with me. How many recipes do you have saved on your Pinterest or your Instagram?
This question blew me away when you asked it, and the audience responded probably like everybody is right here.
Mm-hmm. Thousands, hundreds.
Yep.
Have thousands and hundreds of recipes saved because information gets saved. But let's talk about the chefs. Let's talk about Martha Stewart, the late Anthony Bourdain, Gordon Ramsay. I told everybody up there, I was like, nobody was invested into Martha Stewart when she went to jail like I was. I was like, oh my God, this lady who uses butter in all her recipes is going to jail? Like, what? She's a con? I was so invested in her going to jail. That sounds horrible, but I was like invested in her identity.
Hmm.
And when Anthony Bourdain was alive, like I was the first one, like, oh my God, what country is his next show going to be in? I was invested in their identity, not necessarily their recipes, because information gets saved and identity gets followed. People do not want to know what you know. I don't want to know what you know, Peggy. I want to know who Peggy is. Okay? Does that make sense? Throw some emojis in the chat. I want to make sure I'm not talking to just Peggy and Sherry and Michelle who are there. Is this yes? Emojis?
It's
No? Okay.
It's resonating. And this is why I wanted to have you on, because we heard it the first time, but to really hear it and see it again was so important. Because when you did the recipe, how many people have recipes? They're all saved.
Mm-hmm.
Can I relate to them? Probably not. But the
Yep.
people with the stories, ah,
Yep. Yep. So good. Okay. Another thing, screenshot this, put it as your wallpaper. People buy people, not properties. One of our speakers was Ricky Caruth. And one of the things that blew me away was the fact that he asked the entire audience, he was like, what do realtors do?
hmm,
What do realtors do? And a lot of people said, they sell houses. It's probably what some of you thought right now. They sell houses, but we don't sell houses. We help people.
mhm,
We help people. People buy people. Every single time that someone's landing on your social media, they're asking themselves one question. Who is Janet? Who is Chris?
right.
Who's Misty? Who is this person? And I'm going to tell you right now, if all you're posting is listings, I'm going to assume that you have a nice listing inventory or that you're transactional.
Mhm,
Okay? If you're posting your family constantly, I'm going to assume that family is important to you. Your content is training your audience how to think about you every single day. It trains your audience. So, what are you teaching people to expect from you? If every post is telling a story, you need to teach them what to think about you. What is your identity? Okay. And so, I'm going to give you the story framework. And by the way, I shared this and I thought about not sharing it on stage, but I think it's important. Everybody here has an amazing personality. You are intricately designed and different for a reason. Okay? You are already an interesting person. You don't need to become somebody else. And that's not my goal in the presentation, right? But if you go to my social media, these are my identity pillars. When people think of Josey, they think faith, fashion, leadership, real estate, speaking, passive income, because I constantly talk about this. I've been talking about this for years on my stories. You don't need to become somebody else. You just simply need to tell the story that's hiding behind your life's categories. All of you guys do real estate, but there's other interesting things. Maybe you cook. Maybe you give back. Maybe you've been volunteering with animals for many years. Some of you were, military or have been in the service industry. That's really what people relate to, not the fact that you're in real estate. Real estate's just what you do, is not who you are.
mhm.
So how do we tell stories, right? Because people are like, well, I'm not a good storyteller. Well, yes, you are, because I'm going to give you the story framework right now. Take a screenshot. When you're and now, but at this point, it's natural for me. Like I know how it goes, right? So S is for situation. What is happening? What's happening? What's the situation? T is for trouble. What is the challenge? O is outcome. What ended up happening? R is reflection. And then Y is your invitation. This is when you pull in your audience into the story. Okay. I'm going to break it down for you. Finding Nemo. Okay. What was the situation in Finding Nemo? Marlin, Nemo's dad, is a super overprotective father. The trouble was that Nemo is captured by a diver and he gets lost. The outcome is that Marlin, the dad, finds Nemo after an incredible journey, and Nemo made a lot of friends along the way, and so did Marlin. The reflection is that growth requires letting go. Fear can't protect the people that you love forever. And the reflection can be different for everybody on this call. And then your invitation is, where in your life are you holding on too tightly instead of trusting the process? This is where you bring your audience in. And by the way, and I didn't say this on stage, but you're getting it here. You're going to start noticing that in all your AI platforms like Claude and ChatGPT and Gemini, it's going to end your conversations with asking you another question.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed. But it'll say, oh, would you like me to do this? And it gives you a new idea. Would you like to see this instead? And the reason why it's doing that is because it wants to reel you in and learn more from you.
Hmm.
Okay. And isn't that the same thing that we're doing as well in a story? What we want to do is reel our audience in. Questions are powerful. And I like it's just one of those things I forgot to mention on stage. But you'll notice if the next time you have a conversation with chat, it's going to end with a question. It's on purpose. Okay. Does the story framework make sense? I'm going to stop right here and see if anybody has any questions. We're almost done.
Open it up, guys. Come on.
Or comments or ahas, whatever, anything.
You know, this has made me so aware since you did this on Saturday when I'm looking at other people's posts now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I want to talk to the people who I'm feeling about. And it's pretty cool when Facebook asks now, do you want to see more of this content? We get to say no. If they're not interesting, everybody's selling a house. Everybody can give you 5 tips on getting your house ready, blah, blah, blah. I
Yep.
want to know the person. I want to build that relationship. So this was a huge eye opener for what do I want coming into my feed all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
I love
And
this, Josie. It's really it seems to be a lot of simple stuff, but at the end of the day, like you said, telling a story, entire cultures have lived and died and passed on their information through stories. So it
that's
really
right.
is, it makes sense that it sticks in your brain and really gets in there in the crawl, so to speak.
It does. It does. And that's how kids learn is through stories. If you give a kid a whole bunch of facts, they're going to overwhelm them. Stories is what retains in your brain. So that's what you want to do. Thank you for sharing that. I'll just go quickly through this. This is an empty nest story. I just wanted to show you how it relates to what you do, to real estate. Situation, couple lived in the same house for over 35 years. The trouble, the kids moved away. Okay, the house felt like saying goodbye. People go through this, okay? It's called the empty nest syndrome, right? The outcome, closing day came. There's a lot of tears, but 6 months later, they began traveling the country. They felt closer to their children, to their grandchildren, and they realized that they were living the life that they always dreamed about. The reflection is that sometimes you're not leaving a home, you're making room for the next season. Your invitation, this is how you bring real people in. What chapter are you holding on to that's keeping you from the next one?
Mm.
Okay. Now
There
notice
was,
some, yeah.
sorry, there was a question in the chat. Annie, do you have that?
Oh, it
Um,
says,
Yeah, it's
how do we keep our personal lives separate from our business without sharing?
that's a great question. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so two questions. Do you have to keep your personal life separate from your business for whatever reason, because of what you do, any situation, maybe your spouse is in law enforcement? Do you have to? If you don't have to, I wouldn't. I would just
Mm.
share what you want to share about your life. That's it. I don't share everything. If I don't want to share something about my personal life, I'm not going to share it. But I always try to combine who I am because that is how you build trust. If all you post is your business, that's not going to build trust. So, unless you absolutely have to keep your personal life separate, then do so. But other than that, nope, show up as who you are.
Sherry's got her hand up.
No, she was clapping.
I was
Oh, she was,
clapping because I agree. I had that problem when I first was getting into really getting onto social media. And that was my whole thing is why does everybody need to know my stuff? But that's what sells our business is our
That's right.
lifestyle. So
That's right. And you could still show people your lifestyle without really letting them into what happens, like with your spouse, your pillow, your night pillow talks. Like, I don't let people in that deep, right? So
mhm.
you could just share as much as you feel comfortable with. That's a great question, Stephen. And you know what? It's funny because it's so much harder for men. My husband struggles with the same thing. Like, I want to keep my wife private. I want to keep my child private. It's
Right.
hard for men. So, very valid. We just got to work through it. So with this empty nest story, notice how not once did I talk about the square footage of the house, where it was located, if it has a pool or not. I didn't
Mm.
talk about any of that. But yet, some of you guys were still invested in the story. Some of you guys probably like, yep, been there, done that. I know exactly what that feels. Okay. The story is what changes because of the transaction that you do. Okay. Remember that. Okay. Other reminders. I love AI. I'm not against AI at all. I use it every single day. I use it to help me write my captions. I use it mainly to help me get my creative thoughts in order. Like I have so many ideas sometimes, and I use
Mhm.
it for it to categorize and tell me the next steps. It's amazing. Okay. But AI cannot live my life.
Right.
AI has access to a ton of information, but it does not have access to your memories, doesn't have access to your childhood, doesn't have access to your feelings. It doesn't have access, to when God answered a prayer for you, doesn't have access to when your daughter shared some really sad news with you. It cannot live your life. And the more that AI floods the internet with content, the more valuable that your identity is going to become, and the more valuable that your humanity is going to become. Human connection is the new gold. People will always need human connection. Okay. So make sure that you are showing up as yourself and that you're not competing with AI. You're competing with being unforgettable.
Hmm. I love that. Being unforgettable. That's the most important thing.
That's right. Okay. Other tips, real quick. I told everybody that I have a story bank, and I am not lying. Like, I literally open up my notes app on my phone and I have a note that's called story banks.
Hmm.
And every time something happens to me, I add it. I speak to it and it adds it as a bullet. Okay. Every single day, your life is already content. You don't need more content. You just need to start collecting stories. What was the highlight of your day? Right? What was the low? What was a funny moment? What happened to you at the airport? What happened to you at the red light? The other day I put my espresso machine, the one that you put on the stove, I put it in the microwave versus putting it on the stove. Okay? I've done crazy things like that. Like I put my fabric softener in the freaking refrigerator. I've left my phone, my car keys in the refrigerator. Like I know those things happen to you guys every day. We just have to like start tracking it. Keep a story bank. And the reason why I tell you to keep a story bank is because that's what's going to build your trust bank. That's what's going
Mm.
to help you build trust. And trust is just visibility, authenticity, plus consistency. I know that you've seen this. People don't hire the realtor that they know the most. They hire the realtor that they trust the most. Okay? Sherry works Southwest Florida. There are bigger agents than Sherry, but she gets a lot of business because people trust her team.
Right.
Okay?
And her social media.
And her
We're
social media, she's hilarious.
we're in Mexico and someone comes up and says, "I know you," because of her social media.
Yes. You guys need to follow her. They're so funny. Her and Joe are hilarious. If I was a client in Southwest Florida, I'd be like, I want to work with them. They seem like a good time.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a good time. I'm not wondering how many houses she sold. I'm not wondering if she specializes in docks or a canal home. I don't care. I'm just invested in her.
Hmm.
Okay? 20 deposits, people start to know you. 50 deposits, people start to trust you. 100 deposits, people start to recommend you over and over and over again. People need to know that you exist, okay? I started my presentation with this and I said, if trust is the currency, storytelling is how you earn it. Every closing, every market update, everything that you share, okay? You need to tie a story or meaning to it. And then on stage, I asked the person that I gave the basketball to, I was like, hey, hand me the ball back, right? And I said, you've been holding this for 20 minutes. Has this basketball become more valuable to you? The answer is no, the basketball hasn't become more valuable. And then I said, but has it become more memorable? And the answer was yes, right? Because now it's connected to a story. Okay. And that's the same thing I'm going to ask you guys right now on the call. If I took away every listing, every closing, every market update, Who would your audience know you to be?
Hmm.
Who
Great
are
question.
you when you're not selling real estate? People are going to find you because of your content, but I promise you that they're not going to choose you because of your content. They're going to choose you because they feel that they know you and they relate to you. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
So I want you guys to connect with her. I know there's a bunch of questions in the chat, and I really kind of want to open this. And how much is too much posting? Remember that people used to say only post on Tuesday or Thursday. I mean, you're
Mhm.
now talking, do something every day.
Yes, if you can. And a story could mean like you sharing a picture of your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I just want that little bubble on your Instagram or Facebook to be lit up with something. Okay? Just so that I know, hey, your business is open for business. You're open for business that day. Okay? If you're starting to dip your toes into content creation, start with twice a week. But start somewhere because your imperfect post is better than the next person's non-existent one.
Mm-hmm. Come on, guys, let's open it up. There we go. Okay. Oh, Chris is in the house. Chris, the dude that I met that I can't stop talking about, that he's like 6'6".
Chris,
Dude, what's up? How are
what's
y'all?
up?
Josie, good stuff. I mean, this was a great even refresher because,
Isn't it?
it just came across us what on Friday, right? Or no, you were
Yep.
Saturday. You were Saturday.
Yeah,
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. They were all kind of scrunched together. So love, love the delivery, love the message behind it. Thank you so much for sharing. And yes,
Thank you,
I'm
Chris.
very, very tall. I love, there's nothing better. Zoom is a great tool, but there's something about being in person, right? So
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Thank
So, Chris,
you.
what were some of your takeaways from Build? And, how do you tell the story not to, we don't want to overwhelm people with what we did there because we come back, we're fired up. And especially when, you want to talk to other agents about it. And I think this is important because you want to tell that story and you want to connect with other agents. So, how do we tie this all together with attraction, but not, you know, throwing up everything on people? That's important. There's a big difference.
you
Yeah. I
asking,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm asking both of you because Chris, you
oh,
hold events all the time too.
yes, Chris, go for it.
Yeah. So what one of the things that we're doing, and I think a really great rhythm after this incredible event is like the next engagement. Like you're
Okay.
always like you want to have that debrief. You want to have that like reflection. You want to collectively come together. And so today, it just happened to work with Build. We got our ground game. We've got our big ground game gathering here in Austin, Josie, where we live,
Yep.
and we're gonna unpack. We're gonna share some stories. We're gonna show. We're gonna share with what you shared with us.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna have that face-to-face interaction. So I think with any event, it's always having in your hip pocket like what's the next event, like because
That's
you
right.
always want to stay in touch. You always want to have that rhythm because people, like you said, AI is great, but it will never replace human connection.
That's
And
right.
that's what we do is we always have a event that's lined up after a major event like this
Hmm.
because who said it? Major decisions happen at major events.
That's
Major
right.
decisions happen at major any type of event,
Yeah.
right? So that's what we do, Peggy.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what's your next event? Because you guys do events a lot and you're on
And
social media and you're always giving good content, Chris.
yeah, so we're doing multiple events, guys. We have a one of the questions, Josie, you might remember this, but someone from the audience asked Gene, Brent Gove, Don Hobbs. They were asking, hey, if you started from scratch, what's that thing like? What would you do
Yeah.
to relaunch your business or to build what you've built?
Hmm.
And Gene, old school fundamentals, lunch and learns.
Yep. Lunch and learn.
That was his response. And then Don mentioned, the ground game. So many of us that have built an organization, we've built it, far, wide, deep, and all over the map. But what if we began really building depth in our local area,
Hmm.
and just building those roots,
Mm.
right? And so we just get back to the fundamentals and let's build it right where we are. And so we do something called the ground game, and it's a first Wednesday of the month happy hour, very casual, purposeful but casual,
Hmm.
and then it's a third Wednesday of the month mastermind. So you got the ground game happy hour, you got the ground game mastermind. And this is really built for our own, like our local EXP group here, but it's but it's something that we invite others that we're maybe prospecting, that want to
Hmm.
kind of see our culture, that want to see us face to face.
Right.
But if you can put that on a monthly rhythm and just expect it to be a little bit slow to get it up off the ground, but some of your key leaders, some of your core folks, you want to get their buy-in. Like you want to
Yep.
have their like, hey guys, look, 9:30 to 11:30, 3:30 to 5:30, I need you here. And here's why. Paint vision. Give them what you're expecting, what to come from this group. And then we
Yep.
have our real estate collective. So I'm a big event guy. I build through people and I grow through events. And if
Yeah.
you guys can do that, man, you'll crush it here.
And one thing I want to add to what you're saying, Chris, on events, remember somebody on stage said it, I think it was Nicole Russo. You do not have to be the person that brings the value to the event.
Right.
Because a lot of us like don't want to have the event because we're like, I don't want to talk. I don't know what to talk about.
Hmm.
There are so many people around you that have so much value to give. Just be the host. Provide the environment and the space. And it doesn't have to be a big event. Could be coffee and conversations. Okay?
Hmm. Good
Doesn't have to
point.
be big.
You
I'll
know what,
piggyback there as well, if you don't mind,
Peggy?
because this build event, it sounds phenomenal, and I appreciate this jump on. And I also want to reach out to Michelle because you can see by the people in this call, it's a digital world, but just how much connection there truly is. When
Yeah.
you all were down in Texas, we were at Dave and Kristen Kenord's doing a backyard barbecue. So,
Yeah, I
it
saw
really
that.
is about that in-person
Hmm.
physical, but the
Yeah.
ability to reach through the phone these days, EXP just it touches on so many levels, Michelle. So I think you're making that right decision.
That's
I
right.
love it.
You.
You know, another thing, Peggy,
Yeah,
Chris,
Tucker.
Chris is right on point. At the build event, I don't know who brought it up, but we are still, real estate is a contact sport. And you've, we have got to build skillionaires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is a skill. And you can't be afraid, Josie, to get up and speak your mind.
Right.
People need to know who you are.
That's right.
And that's why I attend events. I wouldn't have, I've talked and seen Lisa Kane, but I met her there.
Yeah.
You know, you piece of work. By the way, I don't have your contact info. You need to send it to me. Anyway,
But
so
these are all great points. Thank you, Tucker, because you know what? People say, even to Gene or Brent, why do you do this? You can
Yeah.
retire. You've got everything you need. It's not just about the money that they have, it's the community, it's their faith, it's their family. But we keep doing it because we have passion. And when Gene talks or Brent talks, everybody listens, right?
Yep.
People want to hear their story. We remember them. I'm sure you guys have been in the room where Gene talks about his granddaughter, Sophia, and she
Hmm.
wanted to fly. And he shows pictures of her throwing her up in the air. Those are the things you're going to remember. You're going to remember what Josie is just talking about now today. And you're going to remember when you watch her content, what product she uses or what she does or what's going on with her daughter. Or, when they went and got two new cars and oh my God, that was like crazy.
I know that was crazy.
Trying to get her to the airport to fly, but these are stories that you go back and you talk about.
Yep.
So I think the biggest takeaway for me, and we've got more time, and I know there's some more questions in the chat, is that don't be afraid to be you.
Yes.
People want to know, love, and trust you, right? Who else? Annie, what do we got going on there in the chat? Let's get people to subscribe to this Wake Up Wednesday. I've got years of YouTube on this. So who else haven't we heard from? Misty, what's going on with you, girl?
Girl, my grandpup is here and she's making a mess and it has been a morning. But anyway, I just want to say one thing real quick. I've been to a lot of events. I'm an event junkie. I try to go as often as I can, but this was my first build. And I just want to say that I was just blown away. It was probably, of course, besides Cabo Beaches, it was probably my favorite event yet. And I love the area around the hotel too. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah.
Street was small. We were able to see friends. I know Chris ran into us at dinner. We were able to see people out and about, and just the connections, the people, the connections. It was amazing. Looking forward to coming back next year.
Good. And I'm going to give a plug for Cabo, which isn't Cabo this year. Josie, we talk about we need to get into the rooms, and some of the barriers of entry are passports, going to a foreign country, not knowing what to expect. So I said this, I don't know, the other day to someone. I was on Jeans Generals. We're coming up to the point where people want to give us gifts, whether it's our birthday or it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. And people are always saying, what do you want? And they always say, well, what are you going to get the person that has everything? How about a gift card to Marriott? How about a gift card to an airline that you can buy your ticket with? How about just, hey, I want to go to this event and you want to help support me on it? You got to ask. You got to get in the rooms. You've got to be there. So we've got how many months out now to we're all coming to Annie's house for dinner or Sunday brunch? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on and get there because you're going to learn and you're going to get to meet so many wonderful people and you're building your story. You're going to talk about your journey about how, oh my gosh, I'd never been to an event and I got here and we got you. We're all here to support you. Misty and Lisa, I'm coming up to your neck of the woods. I think October or no, beginning of November, we're going to pick a date. We're just throwing together an event because we want to do it. I don't know how successful it's going to be. I don't know if people are going to show up, but we are going to do it. Josie, what other advice can you give? Because tell us more about your role, because I don't
Yeah.
people understand what you do, what the company provides for us.
Yeah, so the company basically gives you a recruiter. Okay. So my role is simply to help all of you build your revenue share organizations. There's three ways to make money here at EXP. It's your production business. Always lead with production because production attracts. That's what I want you to always focus on is your production. Then you have your stock, right? We're a publicly traded company, AGNT on NASDAQ. Look us up. We're there. You get stock, okay, just by being productive and by attracting others. And then there's revenue share, and it's passive income, and it's Glenn's way of rewarding us, right, for helping him build the company. We want to reward you for bringing in productive agents into EXP. I get paid to help you guys get your prospects across the finish line. So whenever you're speaking to someone, right? Like I just had a meeting with somebody from Build yesterday, Kenny, his name is Kenny. His goal is to get 50 by December 31st.
Wow.
We did a strategy call and we strategized on how we're going to do that. And I told him all you need to do is get in front of them and send them to me. I will go ahead, do the model explain, speak to them, talk about their business, show them what their business would look like on the EXP platform. If we need to do exceptions and they qualify for it, I can process those. And I'm going to do everything in my favor to get them across the finish line for you. There is value in a third party call. There's value when you're speaking to someone and you're like, you know what, Chris, I don't want you to think that I'm ever selling you. I want you to speak to somebody in the company that can tell you everything that the model has to offer. Would you be open to that conversation? That's it. We will handle
Exactly.
that.
That's so important. And guys, we love Josie, and there are other people in different areas, but sometimes you connect, she'll help you. I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Whatever
work any state.
whatever you need for backup. So, I have a question for you, Josie, because you see everything that's going on in the company. What
Mhm.
are the top three things that you think agents don't know about that they should know about?
Okay, number one, you all need to be on EXP Hub because
Mhm.
everything's going to live within the EXP Hub.
Good point.
If you open up your EXP Hub right now and you go into the app section, you could start building your like desktop there. You can add SkySlope, you can add the toolkits, you can add university. So remember, like one of the main problems that EXP has is that we have so much crap, but it's everywhere. We never know where to find it.
Right.
We don't know where to find it. We're like, oh my God, where's this? I know we have it. I don't know where to find it. Well, everything now is going to live in the EXP Hub. So everybody needs to have that application. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's number one. Number two, did you guys know that we're a completely debt-free company, which with over $135 million in the bank?
Why is that important? Because
You know
I've
why?
had that conversation with agents at
Yep,
other companies, and I'm
yep.
like, you have massive debt. And the agent goes, I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
Until they need to pay off that debt, and guess whose fees are going to go up? The agent's
Mhm.
fees start going up, their monthly fees, their transaction fees. We're
Good
a
point.
debt-free company, and we don't report to like soft banks or anything like that. Okay, that's super important to know. It's really important to know because it tells a lot about the company that they're aligning themselves with. And I think, let me see, another one that might shock our agents. Um,
And I put her on the spot. She didn't know about these questions, so she's doing
yeah,
great.
and I would say, I think you guys all know that we lead in transactions for the last 2 years in a row, right?
Okay, so say that again. Go a
Yes.
little deeper on that because that's
So
important.
EXP is the number one independent brokerage in transactions for the last 2 years. This is your answer to the objection of all you do is recruit. You guys just recruit. Actually, revenue share does not work without production. If there's
Mhm.
no production, there's no revenue to share. So we lead in transactions. Just last year, the United EXP USA did 358,000 transactions. Okay. If we include global, it was 518,000. We
That's
are a
huge.
very, very productive brokerage. So we're not just a recruiting company. We're actually
Josie,
number one in transactions.
another very important thing for
Yeah.
all of us to comprehend is that we are built to handle 350 to 400,000 transactions. The other companies can't do that.
That's right. That's
Their
right.
systems are not set up to 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 handle that.
Hmm.
And Brent Gove told me Friday that EXP now shows every person on his revenue share down 15 levels, not seven.
Hmm.
He's down 15 and beyond that.
That's really
So
cool.
That's a great point. And
Yep.
these points that we're bringing up, there was a question, I think Steve asked it. Where do we find these fun facts? Like I saw a post, our second quarter or whatever results just came out. Where do we find them? Do you know, Josie, so we can
Yeah.
go?
Yep, I'm gonna drop the website right now in the chat. exptoolkit.com
That toolkit is something, guys.
growth. You will find the EXP Explained presentation with clickable links to everything that we offer. Our value stack in technology, value stack in leads, support, training. You'll find all of that. Or if not, reach out to your growth director.
Is there a last question? This has been fast-paced and amazing. What do you guys think? And I'm
Awesome.
sure, if you heard it before, you were billed on Saturday and you heard it, I'm getting more takeaways. These are great hearts coming up here. Everybody loves you, Josie.
Oh,
We're at the top of the hour. Miss Josie, I want to thank you so much.
thank you.
Everybody, you can see the replay on YouTube channel. Andy, can you drop that in the chat, please? And I don't know, I'm super excited. I mean, it may be August, and some people may say it's a slow market, but it was not slow listening to agents from all over the country,
That's right.
all headed out in Plano. Next week, we have Nolly Williams, who's going to be on. Super excited about that. And then we're having Wayne on in a couple of weeks. Tony King's going to be on. I'm just bringing you a lineup to pour into. Josie, we'd love, love, love to have you back because
Absolutely.
I think we could get some training on toolkit and other things like that, though.
I'd be glad to do that. So you guys
We're
know
not,
where things in, how to explain things, and we'll make it more of like a mastermind. Ask
I'd
questions.
love
I tell
that.
you how we answer. Glad to do that.
Okay, great, everybody. I'll see you next week. Thank you for all your support. Love you guys. Chris, good luck with your event. See you
Bye,
later.
everyone.
Bye. Thanks, Michelle, for being on.